Anybody who has driven down County Road 208, State Road 16, I-95, Allen East to 207, or in between South Francis to the outlet malls is going to be heavily affected by this.
St. Johns County resident Jesse Howell spoke against Robinson Improvement Company's proposed 3,300 unit development at Thursday's PZA meeting.
Howell was a designated speaker representing 23 others. He used compatibility, wetland impacts, flooding, school overcrowding, and lack of infrastructure, among many other arguments, to urge the PZA to deny a request to rezone about 2,600 acres of land from open rural to PUD on property between County Roads 214 and 208. He also argued that roads in the area could not accommodate the additional traffic.
Average American household has a minimum of 2 vehicles, so we're talking about the addition of approximately 6,664 vehicles to our community.
The marketing for the proposed PUD describes it as an agri-hood. PZA member Richard Hilsenbeck had questions of Andy Smith from Freehold Communities.
I like agriculture. It's the backbone of America. But how much agriculture is actually going to be in your agri-hood?
We haven't laid out exactly what the agri-hood is.
Hilsenbeck detailed his concerns about the PUD.
Got a lot of wetlands out there. You've got 22 soil types out there, and 20 of them are poorly to very poorly drained, including frequently flooded. It's a very wet site. You're surrounded by rural silviculture, and basically there's a lack of infrastructure and no funding for that in the foreseeable future.
The board voted unanimously to recommend denial of the application. It's now in the hands of the Board of County Commissioners. Their turn to hear this request is November 5th. For St. Augustine's Local Morning News, I'm Liz Ryan.
This local news is a service of your hometown Toyota dealer, Beaver Toyota, US 1 St. Augustine, here to wow you.
These are times to be mindful of the flood conditions and making sure that they're just using safety and being, careful with that type of thing.
King tide conditions continue along local beaches, and the city of St. Augustine is asking residents to be aware.
Chief Resilience Officer Jessica Beach says if you encounter standing water while driving or on foot, you're better off avoiding it.
Keeping in mind that it is salt water, and so we would encourage folks not to drive through flooded areas, to turn around and try to find another route. And it's better to not walk through these floodwaters because in some cases you can't see if you're stepping off a curb or something like that, because if the road's inundated with the flooding, it's just some general safety tips on that. And also being very mindful of our neighbors, because for those that do end up driving through flooded waters, although we encourage you not to do that, it does create wakes, and depending on that, it can actually cause more damage to surrounding property and landscape. It can make the flooding even worse.
Beach says they have more information available online.
Folks can also report flooding at the city's website. That helps us to track these things and just be aware of some of our lower streets that do typically flood, just to be around those high tide times that those can have some standing water on the road, and just being mindful of that. And we have a bunch of links on our website if folks want to learn more. They can go to citystsaug.com/report flooding, and that there's lots of resources in there too. And for the king tides, we've posted the chart and the times at citystsaug.com/king tide.
Beach says those king tide conditions should end midweek. For St. Augustine's Local Morning News, I'm Daryl Moody.
Emergency debris removal contractors have joined FCC Environmental in the ongoing efforts of collecting storm debris post-Hurricane Milton. Matthew Denny is the outreach coordinator for the Solid Waste Division of St. Johns County.
We're encouraging residents to move their storm debris curbside as soon as possible. We do have some storm debris removal guidelines that residents can follow to help us streamline the process and aid with our recovery efforts. Basically, you want to place your storm debris in piles along the curb, not in the roadway, and at least 3 feet away from any obstacles like utility boxes, mailboxes, and fire hydrants. Any bagged or containerized yard debris will be collected by your regular residential hauler on your yard waste collection day. And then we want to make sure that you separate vegetation from all of your other storm-related debris, such as construction debris and appliances, like if you experience flooding in the storm.
Any residents with issues or concern can contact the St. Johns County Solid Waste Division at 904-827-6980 or solidwaste@sjcfl.us. And now you're up to date with St. Augustine's Local Morning News. I'm Rich Carroll.